All right, so let's solve this problem. Luckily, they tell us we get to use the quadratic formula here, because if we had to complete the square, we can do it, but it would not be fun. So what is the quadratic formula? Well, we could derive it. Maybe we'll do that in another video. But you should just memorize it. And I think it goes nicely to the song, Pop Goes the Weasel. So you go, x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And that's the quadratic formula. And you just need to know it. Like, you just really do. And the a, b, and c correspond to these numbers right here. And so once you know the formula and you decided you're going to use the formula, you just got to plug in all of your numbers. So in this case, b is negative 5. So I'll go ahead and write it out this time. I don't always. But what I mean is that that's negative 5. So it'll end up being a positive 5 in the end. But then plus or minus the square root of b squared, so negative 5 squared. So that's 25, because the negative just cancels out anyway. Minus 4ac, 4 times 3 times 1, 12. Over 2a, 6. So this is disgusting. 5 plus or minus the square root of 13 over 6. I mean, hey, if that's the answer, that's the answer. So, while we still got some time, let's derive the quadratic formula. And you do it just from completing the square. So here's how it goes. We're going to start, let's go to a new page so we have room. We're going to start with that equation. ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And we're going to complete the square. We're going to do the exact same thing we did last time. We just have to be really tedious about those numbers. That's the only thing. So here's how it's going to go. We need to get rid of that a. So we're going to divide everything by a. So now we have x squared plus, all right, b over a, x. And then I'm going to go ahead and ignore this till the end. So minus c over a. So now we do the completing the square step, and it's exactly the same as before. So we have x, and then half of that. So that just means we got to multiply by a half. We just got to put a 2 on the bottom. So b over 2a squared minus that squared equals negative c over a. So that's our completing the square step. Now we just need to solve for x. We're just trying to get x by itself. So how's that going to go? Well, we're going to have to move this to the other side. So we've got x plus b over 2a squared. And then what? That's, so b squared over 4a squared minus c over a. All right. So we're going to square root both sides, and we're going to combine those into one fraction at the same time. So that's x plus b over 2a equals plus or minus the square root of this big fraction. So this is already good. But then to find a common denominator, we have to multiply this c by 4a. So that's going to be minus 4ac. And then all of that over 4a squared. All right, that's beautiful. So what next? Well, we're square rooting a fraction, so we can square root the top and the bottom. And we can also subtract that fraction to the other side and get x by itself. So x equals negative b over 2a plus or minus, and then square root the top and the bottom. So there's nothing we can do here, just b squared minus 4ac. But then this square root of 4 is 2. Square root of a squared is a. So now I'd say we need to find a common denominator to combine those fractions, but we've already done that. They already have a common denominator. So we have negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. X equals that. So think about what we did. We just started with this ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And we just schmootied it down by completing the square. And we solved for x. And so that's the quadratic formula right there. We just derived it. And then here, we just used it.